you ready now?
Sure.
All right, what's our intro?
Let's get ready.
Okay, give me that intro. Welcome to Faith-Filled Nerds, where two happily married nerds explore Christian symbolism, iconography, and theology within various fandoms.
Our goal is to pit them against the source and see how accurate or inaccurate they are.
I'm John Mark.
And I'm Michelle, and we're here to explore Van Helsing, the 2004 movie blockbuster by something Summers. Stephen Summers, yes. He actually helped write it and stuff, to produce it and direct it, and it was a big passion project for him. And there's a lot of passion.
There is
a lot of passion.
So much passion.
This is my guilty pleasure. I bought this movie. I've owned this movie for probably over 10 years. I've owned this movie for a very long time.
I think I own it too. I think it was one of the ones.
No, you didn't own it. No, I owned it. You didn't own it.
Maybe Tim owned it.
This was my baby.
Yeah, this is such a bad movie. But it's so I love
good.
it. I love it. I love it so much.
It's so bad. The writing's really bad. The acting's really... Hugh Jackman, you tried. But your acting was kind of bad in it too, actually. But you know what? You tried. Maybe it was the script.
Probably, yeah.
It was the script. Because
I
haven't seen that. I don't know what else that actress has been in. But, because I can't remember her name. But she...
The one who plays Anna?
Yeah, she is a mess in that movie. Well, not a mess as much as, she didn't get to be anything.
Yeah, she was just eye candy.
She was so eye candy. She was so serious. And she's supposed to be, this bad butt woman. I don't know.
Well, yeah, because every shot of her was how can we make her look as beautiful as possible?
She wasn't allowed to have any messed up hair, ever. Her hair was never messed up.
I know, yeah.
I kept saying, wow, she sure went through a lot there, and her hair is perfect.
Wow.
Anyway, no, hold on. We're already dogging on this film when I want to talk about other things.
It is bad film.
Van Helsing himself is a character from the original Dracula book, Bram Stoker.
Bram Stoker, yep.
Dracula, he was more of a occultist, right?
Researcher. he was basically he was throughout most of the book. I've read it, and I actually
was read the book?
Mm-hmm, I was in the play.
Oh yeah,
we did a play in high school.
My dad did the play, and I've seen it.
Yeah,
he did the music for it
in the original book and the play. Yeah, in the original book and the play, both of them. He's kind of just this goofy old guy that, when the character...
vampires!
Well, he's this goofy doctor, right? And then, the character's oh yeah, this girl, I can't remember her name, is being all lethargic, and there's mysterious...
because there's, two girls. There's the one he really wants, but he can't get to her, so he's, messing with the other one, right?
Yeah. And, there's mysterious goings on, and suddenly it's it goes from goofy Van Helsing to serious Van Helsing.
Yeah.
He's there's a vampire here.
He knew the signs of a vampire. Lethargic girls, it's either hysteria or vampires. There's only two options for women back then if you had problems.
I guess. This movie is fun. There's a lot of Christian iconography in it, but that's kind of unavoidable.
I wouldn't say, okay, there's iconography in the beginning, but most of it's just words taken. Rest of it's just wordage.
The thing about the vampire mythology, and specifically the Catholic Church, is Bram Stoker kind of attached the two. And I don't know if he was the first one to do so, but so many people attached to, and throughout most of fandom, there's this heavy theme of Christian Catholicism wrapped up with being the opposing force of Dracula and his ilk.
Well, I think it's because vampires have often been associated with possess. If you were listening to the podcast lore, they go over vampires. He goes over vampires and talk about how there's different kinds and stuff, but how it's basically a weird demon possession.
Yeah.
It's they're evil, thus they're repelled by God.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of
where we get a lot of that.
So we're probably going to end up doing a lot of vampire stuff on this because they're just so...
we like vampires.
Yeah. Let's get kind of into some of the stuff that we saw in the movie.
Okay.
You've got some notes. I've got some notes.
My notes aren't as big because about halfway through the movie I gave up. But
this is a movie that's anytime I tried to
I had to
tell
make
people...
you pause it so much to write stuff down that I gave up.
Yeah, anytime I try to tell people about the difference between a good movie and a fun movie, this is one of the examples.
Yeah.
This is not a good movie.
No.
But, oh my goodness,
wish
is
it
it
got
fun.
sequels. I would have watched sequels.
I would have watched the crap out of sequels.
I would have watched it. So, okay. So the movie starts out with a black and white scene to let us know it's in the past. By the way, this whole movie takes place in the past.
Well, I think the black and white scene is to
homage to
I
know, but why? It just didn't. They didn't do a lot of homages otherwise.
Artsy.
Well, okay. Anyway, so we meet Dr. Frankenstein, and he's like really excited because it's alive. He brings the monster to life. There's Igor in the background being creepy, and then poof, Dracula shows up because he just knows.
Yeah.
And this is Robert Roxburgh, and he is like so into this role.
Oh, he loves every moment of
into this role.
Every time he's on
scene.
scene.
He's a delight because he's so much. Like, he overdoes every single thing.
Is.
All his lows are so low, and his highs are so much. Like, you have to realize this is not how people act, and then you accept that, and then it's fine because he's Dracula. Maybe he's just really bad. Once you kind of headcanon, Dracula's just really bad at controlling emotion because he doesn't have any, so he's just trying to...
He's mimicking it,
He's mimicking it, so he's just overdoing it, which is a great character type that we need to see in a LARP. Anyway,
I think so too. And something that I was discussing with somebody else is, I was saying, I was telling, he overact because, vampires are soulless. I was like, oh, like robots. Like, no, the difference is, like, a vampire was human once. They remember what it's like to be to have emotions, but they don't have them anymore. So that's why this character, in our headcanon, that's why this character is, like,
we had to
over
fix
the top.
it. We fixed it.
Hey,
anyway, so he's like, yeah, thanks for the monster. I don't need you anymore, Frankenstein. And Frankenstein's, no, I won't let you use him for evil. Which I'm like, does anyone remember what Dr. Frankenstein actually thought of his creation? Anyway, so any actual, the only thing they got right, I think, about Frankenstein is the monster Adam, which they don't name him. He's just the monster. Yeah. But his book name, canonically, is Adam. He's a pretty intelligent dude, right? Like, he's, here he doesn't really say much. He says, 2 lines because he's a baby.
Yeah, baby monster.
He's a baby monster. But he says, 2 lines, but he's he's
later on,
he's a good guy. Yeah. He's a good guy, and I mean, in the book he does some stuff, but in the movie he's a good guy, and so he runs off with Frankenstein's body. Yeah. Dr. Frankenstein, because Frankenstein's not the monster.
Yeah, intelligence is knowing that Frankenstein is not the monster. Wisdom is knowing that Frankenstein is the monster.
From the book. That's the book. Then
that's
the
movie,
that's not it. So he runs off to a windmill, and there's an angry mob because it's a monster movie, so there has to be an angry mob. Yep. And they run up to it, and apparently, for some reason, this windmill is just full of alcohol. Just blasted with it. It's everywhere.
Specifically absinthe.
There's tons of it. Whoever ran this windmill was just they hated where they lived so much because it's just monsters, werewolves, vampires, it's just monsters, mad scientists, grave robbers. Yep. I think the guy who owned that windmill was just I just want to be not just drunk, but vibing. I'm hot, I'm high, I'm not here. I don't even know what a windmill is used for anymore.
It's it's Tuesday, another werewolf attack.
Anyway, so he's breaking, so they light it on fire, and it doesn't just burn. But this windmill was ready to go, by the way. It was already ready. It was decrepit. It gets in there, and it's ready to go, and they're just oh, burn it! And
it
explodes. And oh no, the monster's gone. Dracula's all sad because now he can't enact his plan, and his wives are all sad because they can't enact their plan. They're the best part of the whole movie.
Oh, I love the wives.
I love them. Anyway, so we cut to a year later, which apparently they figured out color in a year.
Yep.
The world was black and white between that time and that time.
Look. Advancements come quickly.
Came very quickly. Everyone was colorblind until then.
I guess.
And we are introduced to Hugh Jackman's character.
Hugh Jackman is so hot. I'm
sorry.
So
hot.
I can say I am secure enough in my masculinity to say Hugh Jackman is a hot, smexy man.
He is. And this is a younger one. This is 2004, guys. This is
him in his prime, yo.
16 years ago.
Jeez Louise.
Feel your age, right? I was sitting there doing the math. Anyway, so he's hunting Dr. Jykell,
and
who's Mr. Hyde.
And Mr. Hyde.
And this scene's actually a really fun scene. It doesn't really not really relevant to much. It's just a really fun scene.
Yeah, it sets up the character. And the fight ensues. He throws Hyde through this priceless stained glass window that they're very...
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame.
He breaks the round circle famous piece.
Yeah.
Breaks that. They fly through the air, and as he's flying through the air, he shifts back to his Dr. Jykell self and splats. And then there's a guy who goes, Van Helsing! And I'm just like, but how do you know it's him? Like, I didn't get it. But apparently, I did a research. There's another movie.
Yeah, it's an animated movie.
There's an animated movie they brought out for pay-per-view only. But at the same time, I'm going to find it. It's called The London Assignment. And it has, like, Queen Victoria. And it answers all these questions about this whole thing. So maybe that these people knew that Van Helsing was on the hunt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, but we didn't get that context because we didn't see the...
We didn't pay the money to...
No, rude. They were really banking on this taking off, huh?
Yeah, they were
putting, like, oh, man. Anyway, so they go.
When he goes, he dies, and then you see the first sort of religious piece of iconography. Van Helsing crosses himself.
Well, yeah, and other than the Notre Dame, the church,
right? Now, I kind of got me thinking, because as you guys know,
back in my brain now. We should.
It's on the list.
Let's do it now.
As you know, Michelle and I are not Catholic, but we are...
But everything we talk about has to do with it. Because that's no one makes Protestant stuff. I guess there's some, like, really deep cult stuff they do. That was...
But, so he crosses himself. So I kind of looked up what all of that is talking about. And so it's referred to as the Sigmus Crucis, which is the sign of the cross. And it is for, when you cross yourself, it's basically kind of a prayer. It's like a quick, like a quickie prayer, I guess.
Yep.
And it's used by clergy to bless things. They make the sign of the cross.
You see that? I mean, you see it all the time in movies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now there is apparently there are 2 versions.
I feel like I knew that, but I don't remember the details.
There's the Western version, which is what he does, which is you touch your forehead, then you touch the base of your sternum, and then you go from your the left side of your chest, right side of chest. So it's Father and the
with his hand.
Yeah, Father, Son, the sternum. You say Son, and then the cross.
You do it with your right hand.
Yeah, the crossing right here is
because
Holy
the hand's
Ghost.
Evil.
Yeah, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Okay. Now, the Eastern, which is so the Western version is done by Anglicans, Roman Catholics, and Lutherans. Yeah, Lutherans.
It's in your notes, I'm sure.
Anglicans and Lutherans being actually Protestants that do this. And, of course, Roman Catholic. The Eastern version is a little different. It goes down to the navel. So you touch your forehead and you go all the way down to the navel. Yeah, it's a much bigger cross.
Holds more sins.
It has...
This cross can hold so many sins. Sorry, the salesman meme.
Oh, no.
Salesman's last car. Salesman's last cross. This cross can hold so many sins.
Oh, are we being blasphemous?
I don't know why that just...
Oh, okay. So, meaning...
You can cut that out if you want.
Nope, it's stayed in.
I'm gonna make it.
So, meaning... some of the meanings that are behind it. The motion across your body is supposed to represent how you are, you're crossing yourself and you're taking your own cross to follow Jesus. Okay? When a priest does it, they do it with the 3 fingers. And we see the cardinal do it later.
With the 3 fingers?
Right, yeah, representing
They did their research a little bit.
Yeah, well, it's everywhere. Like, you see, like,
yeah, but
popes
I mean, I was just gonna ask, do you think they actually learned any of this when they were making this movie?
I doubt it.
Okay.
We'll
see because when they go to the Vatican and go below, we see how much research they actually did.
not much. The 3 fingers, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. 3 is an important number. And the Western style, the motion from left to right is to represent how Jesus in the Catholic canon, and actually in I believe the Apostles' Creed, it talks about Jesus descending into hell and then ascending to heaven. So descending to hell or to Hades, the left side, and then ascending to heaven, the right side. So that's what that kind of means. Interesting. Anyways, so after
I mean, I don't have that many.
Yeah, after that scene,
he goes back to the Vatican, right? And we're just talking about that. The priest,
Yep.
He did the hand symbol. Later on, we see the priest do it. He meets his boss, basically, who's a cardinal.
Yeah, I actually forgot to look up.
I should look up his name.
Yeah, he's doing confession.
No, it says they can.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Well, from what I understand, they can because.
Well, it's not so much can they, but are they like
I think he can do it, but he doesn't. He probably does it for other priests.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
Maybe, I don't know. I read a little bit, but it was really hard to find because I found out there's a Catholic forum that Catholics ask questions on, which is actually really interesting. I really love it. I really love that support. So I was kind of reading through, and they were asking some questions about it. But basically, because you can be a bishop without being a priest, there's different there's a different way of being accredited to these things. Okay. So there's remember the code of codex.
Yeah.
They have this codex they follow. So anyway.
Well, remember a cardinal.
We're not 100% sure.
A cardinal is actually a bishop with an extra title.
Okay.
A cardinal and a bishop are effectively at the same level. Just a cardinal has extra title and extra duties. So
sounds like he's higher up in the totem pole to me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, we meet the Knights of the Holy Order,
Knights of the Holy Order, because they really thought hard.
I know, this is like I could have thought of
they should have added some other fancy words.
I know, or got some Latin in there. I mean,
I don't know, something.
Yeah.
And in the Knights of the Holy Order, I speak words, language. They go down, because it's not just he goes into the booth for confession.
Yeah, it's a confession.
But was he really doing confession as much as just getting a ride down?
Yeah, or getting a talking down from
it was literally just a way to talk to this guy and then get sent back down underneath to where they go to the Knights of the Holy Order, and he talks about the Knights of the Order, and I wrote it down, and then I didn't put it in my main notes, so...
It's got a very James Bond feel
basically,
down
their
there.
job is to kill monsters, demons, anything, the war on humanity that isn't humanity itself.
Yeah, and one of the things that they say that the Holy Order, the Knights of the Holy Order, has existed since time immemorial, even though at this particular point that I'm guessing that they're trying to pull from as far as the time period of the movie.
Well, that basically we're trying to say. No, did they say that? Because I really
he said we have defended mankind since time immemorial.
So when memorial means, he had the accent.
Yeah.
Memorial means since we started keeping track of time. Is that what that means?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
How does that work when the Vatican Church hasn't been in existence since immemorial?
In any case,
200 years ago.
Basically, he's suggesting that the order has existed before even the Catholic Church. It's only kind of attached itself to kind of what they're which is kind of an interesting thing, because I wanted to see if the Catholic Church has had secret orders.
I'm sure they have.
They may or may not have.
I mean, they're not going to talk about it.
Yeah, they're secret. That's the whole point of secret orders. The Knights Templar is probably the one that most people are the most familiar with. But really for a lot of...
Don't they have a statement against...
Yes, actually
so
several. Yes, the Free Methodist Church has something in our code of discipline.
No secret societies.
No secret societies, basically. That's the long and short of that. But actually many different popes throughout history, the history of the papacy, have come out decrying any type of secret societies or secret vows. That being said, the secret order...
170 so years ago?
Yeah.
Sorry.
The kind of secret order, because everybody knows about it, so that's not much of a secret, is the Knights Templar. Something that's
I think
sparked the imagination.
One of the important things to say about this is because when Christianity had to kind of hide in Rome and Greece, there was this talk of them. This is where some of the vampirism things came from, was we eat our god. They were kind of freaking out about that. We eat the flesh of our god. It's kind of what they...
Yeah, because the bread's supposed to represent the body of Christ.
That's what the rumors went about, because we kept it so secret.
Yep.
And I think the idea is if we're open, people won't misunderstand our message.
Yep.
So secret societies they're dangerous in other ways too, but that's one of the things, is the misunderstanding.
And it's
dangerous because you get people who think they're better than you, or they control it. Well, I could get political here, but it's fine.
The whole point of Christianity, Jesus said, go out into the world and make disciples. You can't do that if you're because the secret societies all revolve around having this secret knowledge that you can't let other people know about.
It's like Scientology, that you can't get very far without paying money into it.
Yeah. I have no problem with dogging on Scientology.
Sorry, we're going to dog on it.
I have no qualms.
So they go down to this basement level that's huge, and there's people from all religions down there. Yeah. We see Hindus, we see Muslims, we see
there was a guy that
Buddhist
had the
priest, we see
a sheik. There was a guy with
a sheik. And they're all working away on whatever they're doing. Most of them are making stuff, which I think is kind of this is where they just make all their stuff, I guess.
Yeah, I said, it has a very James Bond, Q's laboratory kind of.
Well, we were talking, and we decided that it must have been that this secret society, the Knights of the Holy Order, you can kind of know how it's the Knights of the Holy Order. Yeah. There's no other name drop in there when you think about it. Yeah. It's because it's a universal. Yeah. They've been at times in memoriam because they're a universal belief system.
Yeah.
I don't know if they've thought this hard about their lore.
Probably not.
But we're going to think hard about it for them. Sure. There's literally a line where one guy blows up something and you hear what
in Allah is wrong with you?
What in Allah is wrong with you? And we're like, and that's how we knew there was a Muslim, an Islam follower in there. And I was like, interesting. And then we saw the Buddhist priest in the wrappings and stuff. So, and it's just kind of an interesting take. I mean, they're already taking lore and going, just kind of running it through the grinder and making
whatever they want.
A hamburger lore out of the remnants of various religions.
So there's secret societies. The Catholic Church actually discourages them. But there might be secret societies within the Catholic Church. But the entire point of a secret society is that you don't know about it. If you know about it,
Sorry, I was reading you've already lost your memories from past sins, and so they think his body's suffering from. Yeah. They think he's lost memory because of his sin, which I think is an interesting. I mean, there's a lot of people who think you suffer your body, you get literal punishments that handed down.
Part of that's due to some of this stuff. That's sort of this proverb style view of how justice is, because Proverbs is very much if you do good things, you'll prosper. If you do evil,
what is that?
Ecclesiastes kind of.
No, what is that? It's if you do good things or you do certain, you're happy all the time.
The prosperity.
It's like a prosperity theology.
Actually, the Jewish people, especially in Jesus' time, a lot of what they would say, you'd hear people say, the guy that was born blind that came to Jesus. I think it was his disciples asked, what sins has he committed, or what sins
did his family
commit to be?
Because of the 7 generation thing.
So that's,
and I like kind of how Jesus is no, it's not how this works.
Yeah.
It's just happened. Genetic lottery or something happened in his youth,
it might be a result of sin as a corrupting force that is corrupted.
Yeah.
It's not
because the world is suffering. Yeah. It's not just us who sin. The world, it has sin in it. Thus the world suffers.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting.
Let's see. So they go down there, right? And we meet Carl, who is the friar.
Carl!
And he is the comedy relief.
Yep. He's also the cute.
He's okay. He's an okay comedy relief. He can be a little annoying, especially at first, but he's okay. Yeah. He is the guy he's the thinker. He's the guy who does the reading. He knows all the knowledges, and he's the nerd. He's a big nerd. Nerd. And he walks around and he talks about stuff, and he's like, oh, look at this thing I made. I've been working on this for 12 years. And it's a sun bomb, right? Sunlight bomb. And I'm like, that won't come in handy, will it, guys? The movie about Dracula. Oh, wonder what that's going to be used for.
That is one thing about this movie.
It was so heavy-handed. Look at this. Ooh, what could possibly happen with this thing?
So do you know the concept of light posting? It's where you basically mention something suddenly.
It's foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's foreshadowing.
But this is foreshadowing. This is literally here's the end.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's not so much the placing light posts as so much as hitting you over the face with it. I guess it's better
than him going, oh, I have this with me.
Yeah.
I guess it's better to know it exists at all than to be like, by the way, at the last minute, I have this thing.
I guess, but
which they do later. Sorry.
But one of the things he likes to do, at one point, he, does this, really bad curse. He did, I can't even remember.
It wasn't that. It was, probably one of their few, because that movie's, PG-13.
Bad bad is in not like super profane, but just like done poorly.
Oh yeah, but like I just want like movies like PG-13, so they get like 3 curse words.
Yeah.
Okay, so
it's true. He's like, you can't curse. You're a monk, and he responds with, well, actually, I'm just a friar, so I can curse all I want.
Do you want to go into friar stuff here, or do we want to talk about that later when he does that again? Because he does it twice.
He does do it twice.
The second time, I think, is a little worse.
Yeah, well, we'll just do it now, and we'll kind of point back to it. So I actually interviewed one of my old professors who was at the time a priest, but is now a bishop. So he got promoted. That's cool. Bishop Ryan Mackey, and he is also a friar. He joined a friary. I believe he joined that my junior year.
Friary.
Yeah, well, that's what they're...
I know, but I literally just pictured them deep frying.
Okay. Right. So, yeah, my junior year, he joined an order, friary order, called the Order of the Companions of Christ.
Now that's the name!
That is the name. That's a much better name than... It is a much better name. So a friar versus monk. A friar is basically a monk who, instead of sequestering themselves like monks do, they go out and live in society at large.
That means they still have to take oaths and keep them.
Yep. They still basically have all the same... I got
really close to the mic, so it's going to sound really weird here.
They basically have all of the same rules and vows and stuff that a monk would, based off of the denomination and the order that you're a part of. Now, interesting, priests and bishops and deacons can be friars and monks, but you don't, and those are like the ordained.
Can friars get married?
Depends on the order.
That's true.
Since Bishop Ryan Mackey is technically, he is a Anglican priest.
Because he is married, yes.
He is married.
But these Anglicans can get married. Their priests can.
Yeah, Anglican priests can get married. I asked him if there was any difference between Catholic friars and monks and Anglicans, and he's basically said there's really no discernible difference except for some of the vows, like the vow of chastity.
Yeah.
So ordained people can be friars or monks, deacons, priests, bishops, but also non-ordained, like just basic lay people can be. They would be called brother or, in most cases, lay brother.
I think I've heard that before.
Yep. And for really, like I said, they have the same rules. The only real difference is that a monk, there's no hierarchical...
Yeah, monks live in monasteries and friars don't, basically.
Right. There's no hierarchical thing. Like, monks aren't higher than friars.
They did not, so it's the same, they did not do research on this one.
Oh, absolutely
They were just like, this is a funny gag.
Yep, nope, and that, so he'd be still beholden to any vows that a monk would be, so yeah, that's...
He wouldn't know that because he's supposed to be a nerd.
Yeah,
anyway.
It's true.
He's just lying because nobody else knows the rules.
Right, there we go. So we're off to Transylvania now.
No, we're not.
Oh, we're not.
Because I just want to touch on a few points and then we'll go to Transylvania.
Okay.
All right. They show a picture of Dracula.
Oh, and no.
It's the actor, what is it? Richard Rexburg's face photoshopped over. It looks so bad.
Poorly photoshopped.
Poorly photoshopped over.
Poorly.
A picture of, like a modified picture of
Vlad.
Vlad the Impaler.
Yep.
So it's like, but his face doesn't fit, like, the time period at all. The ethnicity or anything, because
nothing.
Like, yeah, it's hilarious. He looks like this white dude wearing these, like, because Vlad would not have been like a normal white man. He would have been Romanian. It's different.
Yeah.
There's a difference from a white British guy and a Romanian guy. There's a difference. So.
Also, the thing that really makes it glare out is they didn't do
like set
a proper
his face in.
They set his face in. They also didn't properly age.
Yeah.
Because the picture that they use, they probably just grabbed a stock photo, like old timey photo, and photoshopped it in. So they didn't get the aging effects on the face part.
Like he doesn't look right. So they have that, and I actually made John Mark go back and we watched the scene and paused it, and then we just laughed for like 10 minutes because I'd never noticed it before how bad it was.
So bad.
We're introduced to the Valerius family, who took their great-great-great-grandfather, way up the line, took a vow that their family would slay Dracula and they would not be allowed to enter heaven.
And they would never rest nor enter heaven until he was vanquished.
I'm not sure what happens to their souls in between.
Purgatory.
They just hang out in purgatory.
Yep.
And so far they hadn't done so, and there's only 2 of them left, which is the hot siblings.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Anna and I can't remember her brother's name. They're the hot girl and hot boy, basically. Hot Hot girl, hot boy.
Because he's not important, because he dies, like...
No, he doesn't die.
Essentially.
He dies. So, like, so now there's a big ring with a symbol on it, and they're like, what? Same symbol as this thing? Oh, one last plot MacGuffin.
Yep, the
scroll. He gets handed, like, we have this thing. We know it's related to the thing you're doing somehow.
Because of the symbol on his ring.
The symbol on his ring, so this must be related to going to Romania, or Transylvania. And it's like, how do you know this has anything to do with that? Just because the symbol's on his ring? Anyway, it says, in the name of God, open this door. And we don't know what it's for yet. Foreshadowing.
Okay. On that point, though, that was
better.
That one right there.
Dracula had it in his house, and they discovered it when they went there a few times, and he was hiding it so they couldn't do the thing they needed to do.
But compared to some of the other
Let me write your movies.
Yeah, compared to some of the other foreshadowing stuff, this one was done slightly better.
Remake this movie.
No,
I want to see a remake. Remake it.
Do not touch this movie. It is sacrosanct. It is perfect in what it is.
Jackman again.
It is perfect in what it is.
Also, so they got this, and they go, okay, time to go, bye!
Yep.
And then he's like, Carl, you're coming with me because you know stuff. Apparently, he never needed help with the knowledge of how to kill things until this moment.
Well, it just shows how powerful Dracula is.
So how powerful Carl is.
Yep.
Carl's the powerful one.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I showed a picture of the siblings who were not, the picture was not time.
Yeah.
They were beautiful. Anyway, so we get introduced to the siblings. Hot girl, Anna, whatever, and hot boy, her brother. And they're performing the stupidest plan in the world.
Yeah, they bungle this so bad.
It's such a bad plan. So look, they're trying to lure a werewolf out, right?
Yeah.
And so he's all out there like, oh, look at me, I'm tied to a stake. Oh no, I'm so delicious. And he literally whispers plot stuff to us. He's like, Dracula released you for a reason. Yeah. And this is stuff that could be said, and it wouldn't feel like, oh, you're letting us know. Exposition.
Yeah, it's
right?
exposition.
But like their acting is just like not there.
Yeah.
Like, just give me my paycheck. I want to go home.
But they bungle it so bad.
Which I know they're supposed to, but like these guys have like 10th generation.
Yeah, they should be better at this.
They should know how to do this. So the werewolf attacks. Something goes wrong, and Anna's like, "Where's my gun? My gun's the gun with the silver bullets." Then what are the other dudes there for with their guns? If their guns don't have, why don't you all have? You have a big house back there with full of stuff. You could get some more silver, lady.
Right? Yeah.
We're not even talking. We all know silver bullets don't work. We're not even going to touch on that. Silver bullets, you can't make those. You have to make them
like pure silver bullets.
Yeah, you can't do pure silver. Yeah. We're not going to touch on that. We know that's not how that works. Anyway, so Hot Boy dies.
Yep, dies.
Also, when we first see Anna, the camera literally starts on her thighs and scrolls upward.
Yep.
Look at Hot Girl!
Oh, and she like spins around, but the camera
so you can
has
see her butt.
Yeah,
just a little bit.
Just a little butt.
A little side butt.
Just a little side butt.
Oh yeah, they mentioned Dracula's the son of the devil, which is apparently not true.
Nope, not true.
But they do mention that.
Well, they start to try to establish
at the end of my notes of what was happening in this movie.
So yeah, because that comes later. So they bungle this plan, and then it cuts to Carl.
Yeah.
And Van Helsing walking through this town in Transylvania.
This town is called Transylvania Town. This is where Transylvania is.
Oh,
this town is Transylvania.
It's so like the whole place is like
Transylvania.
Gloomy. All the people.
Think Transylvania is from all the past movies. That's this town.
Yeah, it's like gloomy. All the people are like.
I'm sure Transylvania doesn't even look like that.
No, it's probably
nice.
It's actually probably very nice because all like the weird goth people that have money go there.
Oh, it's true.
Vacation there. It's actually a huge
It's Romania
vacation.
now, isn't it? It's something else now. It's not even. I don't think either of those things exist anymore, right?
I think there still is, but I'd have to look that up. But anyways, they go. They
go into Transylvania Town.
Yep, and he starts, of course, expositioning, saying, son of the devil, anything bitten or turned by Dracula will
he's
be
got
destroyed.
The boss rule.
The master or whatever.
The master rule, but kill the master, all his minions die.
Yep. And then we have the first big action. Well, not the first big action.
Well, the mob's like, why are you here? This town literally all comes out. This town that has way more people in it than the town looks like it should have.
Yep.
They're like, hey, get out of our town. They're gonna, and then, of course, there's Mr. Hat, or Hat Man.
Mr. Top Hat.
Mr. Top Hat.
That is
we've
literally.
Seen a few times before.
He's the Undertaker.
He's the Undertaker. He has no purpose in this movie other than to be creepy.
It would be absolutely creepy. I don't even know.
so creepy.
So creepy.
Then we see Anna again, and she's like, and first thing we see of her again is her legs.
Of course. Well, to be
I
fair,
just, like, this
to
movie
be
does
fair,
not pass the Beckham test.
to be fair, pretty good legs.
I know, but they didn't cast her for her acting.
I know they did not.
They cast her for her beautiful curly hair and her wonderful personality.
Yeah, sure.
And she has the steampunk girl outfit on.
Yeah, because she's got the
She's ready to go in an airship and go to a convention.
Yep.
And she expositions about how they should leave and all this. And then vampires attack.
Yep, the vampires in the middle of the day, which they touch on this, but I guess these vampires, they are only hurt by direct sunlight. So if it's overcast, you're screwed.
And we're introduced to the brides really well here, and they're really cool. They hired 3 supermodels to play these brides. And these brides are like, they watched Dracula act, and they're like, we can do that too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And they just act, they just overact everything, and it's great. Because they never not overact.
Yeah, the whole time.
Never, and like, for some reason, it just really works for them. Like, they're highly enjoyable to watch.
Yep.
They're sensual, but they're monstrous. They just do a really, like, I love the brides. I think they're really cool. Yep. Their monster forms are really cool.
Oh, yeah.
The vampire monster, it's really cool. And then the CG holds up pretty well for them.
It does, yeah. It does, actually.
It doesn't hold well for everything, but it holds up okay for them.
Yeah.
And they talk about how, my favorite line in the scene during the attack is, 30-year-old blood is like the best aged blood. Like, my blood must be great right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we have perfect.
They
kill one of the brides with holy water.
Yeah, because they dips the
because
crossbow.
Apparently because by the church they have a little spocket.
Well, it's so something I didn't touch on when I was talking about crossing yourself. So when you enter a church, you'll dip your finger into the holy water.
Oh, that's what that's for.
Yep, and that's so you.
They just have a little. They just like turn on the holy water faucet.
Well, it's a
because there was a faucet there.
Yeah, it's water, and then the priest will come out and bless it, make it holy water, and then that's how
they could have had a priest in this.
They could have, but they didn't.
They could have had a cool little priest dude that's just like terrified of vampires.
Yep,
he could have been a little fun character.
They didn't. So
we got Carl instead.
We got Carl.
So that's the movie really starts going.
Yep.
As they begin to hunt for Dracula and figure out what his plans are.
Yep.
They kill one of the brides, and they mention how the vampires only take 1 or 2 months, a week, or whatever. You still would run out of people pretty fast. And now they're going to take more for vengeance because they killed one of the brides.
So it's that fear of, like, don't kill us.
Like, they had this weird balance. Like, oh, yeah, we lose people, but we're used to it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of really sad because it's, Transylvania in the 1800s. It's very sad. Gloom and doom.
So they start hunting, they find out that her brother isn't dead, but is a werewolf, so basically. The werewolf transformation, I need to talk about this. The werewolf transformation in this movie, when I saw it the first time, I thought it was so creepy.
It was very creepy.
Because they literally, like, the werewolf is underneath, and they literally rip off. I'm trying
to remember how they get to this point. So they went from there to her house.
To her house, yep.
Because they have this big butt house, and it's
it's a castle. It's a
castle.
I think
it used to be Dracula's house.
Yeah.
They took Dracula's house. They're like, this is our house now. We get all your stuff. And they have all this like artifacts and stuff in this house.
Armory and stuff.
And I'm sure there's a lot of Easter eggs there too. And so they're getting prepared for that. And Anna's like, I'm coming with you. And Van Helsing's like, no, you're not. She's like, yes, I am. She's like, fine. Roofies her. Like, just magic gas goes and like.
Yeah.
And so she wakes up later because she has the sense. And she walks around, and there's her brother. He's alive. Oh, there he is. Oh, no. He's like, I had to tell you Dracula's plan. Oh, no. The cloud dramatically left the cover of the moon, and I'm shifting now, so I can't actually tell you anything.
Yeah, that first shift though that you see, like, he literally crawls up the wall. It looks like something out of The Exorcist.
It's a very paranormal, like, very possession, which is something people thought too. So it's not out of the. But yeah,
and
he just starts peeling
his skin off, and there's like
hold as well now, CG wise, but it's still one of the cooler. The werewolf design in these movies is actually way cooler than a lot of other movies. I could list so many times I saw a werewolf design, I went, no.
Harry Potter
werewolf design sucked.
Yeah, they look like some emaciated,
Underworld
goblin.
werewolf designs. They look like apes. They sucked.
Yeah.
American Werewolf in London was good.
Yep. Isn't that the one where the
Company of Wolves is excellent.
Is that the one where the wolf like
comes
literally
out of the mouth?
Yeah, that one's so creepy. Anyways, so plugging right along, we've got, so they do that, they hunt down the werewolf.
But they chase after him and they end up at where Dracula's at. They actually find Dracula's castle and they're doing experiments.
Well, I think they're...
Not his main castle, it's the Frankenstein's castle.
Yeah,
Dr. Frankenstein's
Castle Frankenstein.
Where he did his experiments. And so they go there and they are like, oh no, there he is. They're using this. What is this? What are these egg sacs? What are in them? It's baby vampires. Yeah, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of baby vampires.
Sound though when they're
from
moving
one
through
breeding or one birthing
or something.
One birthing. There's like 500 of them, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And Dracula's plan is to bring, because apparently his wives can only give birth to dead babies.
Yeah. But
so
they don't like decompose.
They put them in these special sacks.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know. The rules are flexible.
I guess.
Dracula can do what he wants.
And then we have the first...
Oh yeah, Dracula was very upset about his wife dying.
Yes. Oh, he's very...
I maybe really think of World of Darkness, just to kind of this weird connection sires have with their... Anyway, continue.
So then, like, through all that, we finally get our first showdown between Van Helsing and Dracula.
Yes.
And...
Oh yeah, he's like, and he drops the bomb. He's like, hello, Gabriel.
Yeah, which we're gonna get into that here in just a minute.
He's the left hand of God.
So Van Helsing uses all of the tricks of the trade, uses the stake, doesn't
holy
work.
Holy water.
Yeah, well, no, he doesn't use...
I thought he tossed holy water on him. I really thought he did.
No.
And he kind of like, ow.
Yeah, he uses...
It's all like, ow.
And he uses a crucifix, and, he's kind of affected by it, but he just burns the crucifix up in his hand.
He basically, wills his evil over the crucifix until it melts.
Which I had a problem with when I first saw it, but then I was kind of thinking about it, and there a story is brought to mind in the Bible.
Sunday school time.
Yeah, a little bit of Sunday school time. So there's I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there is a story in Acts about these, they're called the seven sons of Sceva.
Sceva?
And they were going around, casting out demons and stuff like that. And they got to this one guy, and they're like, we command you in the name of Jesus Christ and Paul, who taught us, come out of this person.
I'm head out.
And the demon was like, well, I know Jesus and I know Paul, but who are you guys?
Yeah, why do you have authority over me?
Yeah, why do you have any authority? And he proceeded to get up, beat them, and strip them naked and chase them away.
That was funny. He beat them so much their clothes fell off.
And this is basically kind of a story about, this idea of trying to cast out evil under your own power and not, we're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to, when we come across evil, it's not our own power that gives us strength. It's Christ working through us. And I think this is a thing, he was trying to use this crucifix, this symbol of God, as a weapon. He's trying to use God as a weapon, but it's his own might,
Yeah.
There's nothing behind it.
Yeah.
And because of that, Dracula's like, get that crap out of here.
Yeah. Well, it's also because of Dracula and what he is, there was a specific way he's supposed to die.
Yeah, there's also
it's
that. A werewolf.
Proverb? No, what is it? A prophecy.
Prophecy, yeah.
A prophecy.
So anyways.
So they are like, oh, time to go. We're getting chased because, they find her brother and he's a werewolf. And then she decides she can't save her brother. And they use him to try and raise the babies. And it works for a little bit, but werewolves are just not what they need because they need
Frankenstein's
They needed
monster.
Frankenstein's monster, but he's been destroyed.
Quote unquote.
Assumedly. So they're like, oh no, we gotta go, run away. So they ran out of there because, they couldn't beat Dracula. And they run to the old windmill, the remains of it.
Yep.
And there's this little cute scene where he takes his hat off and puts it on Anna because they're trying to do chemistry for this romance.
It's
not bad. It's not the worst.
It works in that scene.
They're both so over the top,
only.
It's fine.
Yeah.
And it's cute, and then the floor gives out underneath them, and they fall through, and they find Frankenstein's monster, who has been hiding down here, eating rats.
Yep.
Reading the Bible.
Reading the Bible.
There was one shot in the opening scene of a Bible.
Yep.
And apparently the Bible survived the explosion because of the power of God.
Yep.
So he's been reading the Bible, and so he's this very devout, it's all he has. So he's based his life off of this. So he's he's so nice. I feel so bad for him. He knows he's going to be used, so he's trying to just not... He wants to live up to what his father wanted for him, and he knows people are scared of him, and he's just like, leave me alone.
I just want to exist.
He just wants to exist.
Kind of going back to Dracula's encounter with Van Helsing, he keeps calling him Gabriel, basically alluding that this is like an incarnation of...
Well, apparently there's more information on that in that little animation.
Oh, is there?
Because apparently we find out that Gabriel was an archangel, and he had big swan-like wings, and he has all these powers, but I guess it's in the cartoon that we didn't see, because they talk about all this stuff. They were talking about his form in the wiki. This is how I found out there was one, because I was like reading the wiki to update my brain a little bit. There's a wiki for the Van Helsing movie.
Of course there is. Wiki for everything.
I was reading, I was like, what are they talking about? I was so confused. But yeah, apparently there's more information on him.
Yeah, because in the original book, his first name is Abraham, but they in the movie wiki they always call him Gabriel Van Helsing, and that's not. Yeah, it's Abraham Van Helsing in the original book, and it's funny because they refer to him as being Gabriel and being the one who killed murdered Dracula before he was human.
Before he made the deal with the devil,
and
that's what happened. He made a deal with the devil after he died.
Yep,
the devil made it into this.
But it's funny because first of all, Gabriel throughout the Bible, he's not the one with the sword.
He's the angel of death.
But Michael is like
Michael's known to lead the armies, right?
Yeah, and Gabriel's the messenger. I mean, he's a very important messenger because he's like the only
named messenger,
named angel throughout what at least Protestants use as the biblical canon.
Yeah, so he's like Gabriel, and Helsing's like, oh, huh?
Yeah.
Huh? What? Huh? I smell evil.
The reason
Helsing has detect evil.
Yeah.
He's a paladin, so
yeah, he has detect evil, which is
detect evil.
It's a
he
good
does
thing
not have lay on hands though.
He doesn't. That could really
that would have really helped him earlier.
A lot. The reason I bring that up because after the scene with Frankenstein, they do all this stuff. Anna gets kidnapped because of course she does, and they propose a trade.
Because they're trying to smuggle Frankenstein's monster to the Vatican.
Yep.
They do. They get him out. They get him all the way to Budapest.
Yep.
But Anna got kidnapped. And
yep.
they're like, we'll do a trade.
They literally try to pull a Mad Max. They have two carts. One has explosives with a bunch of silver stakes, which kills another bride.
Yes.
So we're down to one bride. And then Frankenstein's monster's in another one.
Yeah, they switched it.
But they are able to...
There's not much to touch. There's nothing really biblical in the scene other than Carl and the monster kind of talk. And there's kind of this connection because... Anyway,
so Anna gets captured.
And Van Helsing gets bitten by her brother.
Yep. And...
Did they kill her brother in that scene?
Yes. That's because it was their father was the one that bit her brother. Yep. So anyways, Anna gets captured, and so the vampires are they want to do this trade. And the trade's going to happen at this big masquerade ball, which...
This scene was cool.
I didn't catch it the first time I watched it.
It's a really good scene, though.
It's this big all of them are vampires.
Yeah, they're all vampires. You see a mirror and you can't see anybody.
And this is the one point in the movie.
Why are vampire clothes invisible?
I don't...
Anyway.
Yeah, this is the one part of the movie that I felt was kind of creepy because when he, saves Anna, they're on the balcony and they're like, yeah, we're gonna go. And you have Dracula and he's like, Gabriel.
Oh yeah, because everything stopped.
Yeah, it's like the one.
It was like little kid vampires.
Yeah, it's like the one scene where they're like, okay, yeah, this is supposed to be like a monster movie. And
that was a good scene.
It's legitimately a little
Maybe
unnerving.
if they had more pacing.
Yes.
But yeah, they're like, get him, kill him. And Anna pulls a flail off the wall. She's gonna take them all on. I was like, get him, girl. And then even Van Helsing's like, no, time to go. And this is where they use the sun bomb.
Yeah, the big
sun bomb goes off here to kill all those vampires. So they get the monster, though. They hid the monster. But the bad guys find the monster. And they take him to Dracula's actual castle, which is on a mountain.
Yeah, or something.
And he was imprisoned there by...
Valerian the Elder.
The eldest Valerius, or whatever.
Yep.
And so he couldn't couldn't get off it, so the devil gave him wings. That's why he can fly.
Yep.
So there's a door there somewhere in the big fancy house, and they can't figure out how to get into it.
Yep.
But it's the scroll piece that finishes the incantation, which is like not even the hardest. Like you think you could figure that out from.
You would think, but
anyway, so they go through an ice wall into the actual
realm,
his castle.
Castle, yeah.
And they find a bajillion more baby egg sac veins.
And I will say
this will like destroy the world if he succeeds.
When I saw the castle, the first thing I thought when watching it the second time, World of Warcraft,
Ice Palace thing?
Ice Crown, I think it is. Wherever Arthas's stronghold is, because it looks like that. It looks like the
this whole time Van Helsing's struggling because he's getting closer and closer to shifting into a werewolf. So he's getting some useful powers. Yep. But eventually he'll be just a crazy.
Yep. And it's also where you find out that it's a werewolf is the only thing that can kill Dracula.
Oh yeah, well they found that out. Carl found that one out.
Yep, because he found a
secret prophecy in the house. But though they're going through the castle, right? And they catch Igor, they catch him. Yep. And they're like, "You're gonna help us." And then they see them lifting up Frankenstein's monster in an ice cube up towards the top because they're gonna attach it to the machine. And he's like, "By the way, there's a cure! There's a cure! I know there's a cure! Somehow I overheard there's a cure for your werewolfness. I don't know why I overheard this or why they were talking about this around me, but I totally know about this cure. So you guys need to split the party now."
So
sorry, can you tell that bugged me?
For all of you supervillains out there, here's a pro tip: don't talk about your plans or any like things that could disrupt your plans around your captives.
Yeah.
Because they'll talk.
It was just very convenient. Everything was so convenient. Oh. It was definitely we need answers for this, so we forgot to put this in here, or we don't know how to put this in here.
Yeah, this is...
So they split. Carl and Anna take Igor to go get the cure, and Helsing goes to find the monster.
Yep.
To save him. And they, the shenanigans happen, there's more fighting, things going on. He helps the monster escape a little bit. Yep. And the monster, through a series of events, helps save other people, just swinging along.
Yep.
And there's this scene I really liked.
Oh my goodness. Is it the where she's like...
Oh yeah, she swings along through the air, and she's like, "Throw it to me!" And they throw the cure to her, and she goes... And I'm making a face, and you can't see it. But,
she makes this face that's so funny.
She's so serious.
It's like the director's all right, you need to make a serious
I'm talking about
face.
Carl, who has been ordered by the Vatican to kill the monster.
Yeah, because he's not...
And he looks down at this monster who has done nothing to them, who, as Helsing has said, this monster who was created by evil, touched by evil, but is not evil, because he is detect evil. So this is not an evil creature. So I thought this was kind of interesting, a good message of saying that, sometimes bad people bring good people into the world.
Yes.
Bad things happen to good people.
There is
horrible
evil
touches you and does horrible things to you.
But you also need
and you carry that with you.
Yes.
You carry that. And that's kind of like how sometimes you end up carrying other people's sin.
Yeah.
And it's not your sin, but it might tempt you into more sin.
Yeah.
It's the cycle. And what we're saying is you're not evil. You might have been affected by evil, touched by evil, but you are not.
Yeah.
You don't deserve to be treated poorly because of circumstances that happened to you.
And you don't have to, just because the circumstances that you're in are evil, like you've been touched by that evil, doesn't mean that you have to succumb to that. You can rise above it. We all have choices. Mm-hmm. We are all, the thing, a lot of my biblical reading that I've been doing right now is talking about the idea of the image of God. We are the image of God. We are made in His likeness. All of us have that power of choice to rise above those things. Yeah. It's hard. Believe me, it is hard. I've had friends that are in these situations that just seem so hopeless. And sometimes you can't rise above it by yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
And so I think for people that are in that situation, having the humility to say, "Hey, I need help," and the willpower to say...
Sometimes you're on the other side. Someone says, "I need help," and you go, "But you're supposed to do this thing.
Yeah,
you're supposed to..." Carl looks at the monster and goes, "You're supposed to die."
Yeah.
And he goes, "But I want to live." And Carl had that moment where he had to decide what was right.
Yep. And he decides to help the monster up.
He saves the monster.
Yep.
And it was...
And really,
it was a weird arc that didn't really have a lot to it, but it was the monster has so much heart. You just want him to be okay.
And what's interesting about that is, Carl, physically, he's much weaker than than the monster. The monster is super strong.
He cut him.
Right, but
he cut him free and he swung, and then that's how they killed the last girl.
It's still interesting because the monster's reaching out to Carl, someone that from what we would look at as a physically weaker point. It's kind of neat because even people that we don't think could help us, if we just reach out and say, hey, I struggle with this. Can you help me? And even if you don't feel like you are in a strong place, sometimes just being there, being that person, you can help them. And people that may not be mighty can do such mighty things if they're just obedient.
Yeah. So we're really out of time, so I'm going to summarize some things really fast. So they save the monster, and Anna has the cure. The cure.
And then the greatest scene in the movie, best. This is the part of the movie that you wait for.
You came to see.
This is Dracula turns into his monster form, and then Van Helsing, the moon comes out, and he turns into his werewolf form, which, by the way, looks cooler than any other werewolf that we've seen there.
Best werewolf form.
Big, black.
Oh yeah, he's got his hair still kind of.
Yeah, he's got the hair.
But not that bad. Like, it's not ridiculous.
Yeah.
And they just go at it. They fight and fight and fight. Cool. And it's so cool.
So cool.
And then he killed Dracula. Yeah. And then Anna's like, oh no, we gotta get this cure into him. And so she runs at him because they got like till the 12th stroke on midnight. Yeah. The last stroke of midnight. It's very Cinderella. And she runs at him and he jumps on her and she dies.
She dies, yeah.
Because I think it's the tragedy of this family. This family is very tragic.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it in the movie theater being very upset that she died. Yeah. I wanted them to be together, but it's just kind of the tragedy of Van Helsing in general in this movie.
Yeah.
But it's not a tragedy also because now she gets to because her family gets to go to heaven now.
Yeah, you see
then you watch the last scene of the movie, it literally ruins everything. The CGI scenes of their faces in the sky.
Yeah.
And the ethereal form as she floats up.
Because the smoke goes up.
And the monster leave. And the two get on horses and they ride off into the sunset, Carl and Van Helsing. And it's just very much like, more adventures await. I'm like, oh boy, this is not getting any sequels though.
Yeah, because there's a part, this is the part, I'm going to mention this part, because it bugs me, even today. So, they're, like, setting up all this stuff with, like, Van Helsing might be, like, this, like, half-man angel thing. And they're like,
Dracula's trying to tempt him to not, like, you can join me, and I'll tell you your memories and everything you've lost, because, you're the one that killed me, and I can help you learn all these things. And Van Helsing, because he got shifted out of his form because of the...
And he's just like, nah,
I don't care. He didn't care. And I'm like, but we care.
I want to know.
Let me know. So,
and I think they were planning on other movies, but unfortunately,
it was very much and this was someone dedicated to this movie to his father. Like, he watched the credits, and it's like, it's not a good movie, but it's a fun movie.
It's so much fun.
It's worth the watch. I can watch it again. Like, I actually enjoy watching it.
We were actually discussing this. Like, somebody was asking, like, what's your favorite vampire movie? And I was trying to think of all of these vampire movies, like From Dusk Till Dawn is kind of weird and fun. Daybreakers was kind of a cool concept. It was the one where it was like the vampires are the minority and the...
Oh, that was a weird one.
Yeah, that was a weird one with Christian Bale. But I was like thinking of like what vampire movie do I want to watch over and over again? This one. Van Helsing is the one that I can watch. I could watch right now.
Interview with a Vampire. What are you talking about? That's the best vampire movie.
I have to be in a specific mood.
Have you ever seen it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to be in a specific mood.
It's a best quality vampire.
Yeah, it's a best quality, but
it's a well-made movie that I could watch.
Yeah, this movie is...
This is not... Well, there's a lot of love in this movie. I'm not going to say it's like a poorly made... It's poorly written.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of heart in Van Helsing.
And that's what makes it fun. And it
never takes itself too seriously. So it kind of knows it's a bad movie, but at the same time, it like you can know you're a bad movie and still be a well-made good movie.
Yeah.
It's just a fun movie.
It's such a fun movie, yeah.
Anyway, so...
we need to wrap this up, so...
Thank you for listening to Faithful Nerds, and thank you, Steve Rue, for letting us use your jazz album opening song in our intro. Please check out Steve Rue and his fantastic piano musical talent.
Also, thank all of you for listening to us ramble on about this movie. If you like what you hear, consider leaving us a review or a rating on whatever podcast platform you're listening to. And we would love to hear more from you.
We have an email if you want to send us questions or have suggestions on what kind of things we could do next. It's at faithfillednerds, all one word, at gmail.com.
Yep.
We are an opinion podcast, and while we do our research, we encourage listeners to take a look at things themselves. Check us, check yourself. Just make sure that you remember that God loves you, and we do everything from the goodness of place of love. And now it's time for the random Bible verse.
This is a completely out of context Bible verse.
2 Kings 5, verse 21. So, Gehazi,
Yeah.
hurried after Naaman. When Naaman saw him running toward him, he got down from the chariot to meet him. Is everything all right? He asked. This is Michelle.
And this is John Mark.
And we are Faithful Nerds. And the word of the immortal Wolfwood.
Go with God.